What up, it is Eric O'Brien for 1013 The Fox, another brew review. It's a perfect day out, as you can see, for some chili and some beer. That's why we're at Hopcat, because they do great versions of both. We're going to go inside with Stacy from Paulie's out in Lowell. Going to break down some beers that you should be drinking this fall, and then walk you through some of the things that you should eat at Hopcat that may or may not include a lot of mac and cheese. So let's go inside and check that out. All right, so we are inside Hopcat. I'm with Stacy from Paulie's. What do you call it? Over the river and through the woods? Is that
yes, that's what we tell people.
Over the river and through the woods to the most magical beer place on the planet. How many beers do you guys have?
A little over 650.
650.
At last count.
It's like Disneyland for adults. But we are today, like I said, at Hopcat, and no, we are not doing shots of tequila, although that may look like what we're doing. What we're doing is we're tasting some samples of some beers. So what do we have here?
Well, it looks like what we have here is we've got Kostritzer, which is a German Schwarz beer. We've got the Butler's Brown, and oh geez, no, I've forgotten everything that I've ordered, which is from Saugatuck Brewing Company. We have Cannonball Gold, which is from Arcadia, which is their American IPA. We've got Nosferatu from Great Lakes, which is an Imperial Red. We've got Raging Centaur, that's one of Hopcat's, and I believe that also was an Imperial Red. And then we have Schoof, Houblon, which I love. This is like a Belgian-style IPA.
Gotcha. And
Pumpkin from Southern Tier. Big pumpkin pie.
Big pumpkin.
Big pumpkin.
And it's that kind of time of the year. I mean, it's fall time. It's time to drink beer. As people are trying to get their palates around what they should be tasting, what are some good beers to start out with this season that you know, if you're making chili, watching the NFL, whatever you're doing?
Yeah, well, you know, this is a great time of the year for trying new things, and particularly for people who maybe haven't tried some of the craft beers. Right now, so many of the beers that are hitting the market are sort of more malt-driven than they are hop-driven. And we find early on with people starting with craft beers, some of the really hoppy styles can be a little overwhelming to begin with, but the soft, caramelized, malty characters that we tend to find in a lot of the fall beers are perfect. They go great with the food, they're perfect for this time of the year, and they're great for people to start off with. So this is a Kostritzer, the black beer.
Now, have you had this one before?
I've had this one lots of times, but I don't often get to have it on draft.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the beers can really have different characteristics draft rather than bottle.
Do you think, would you say in general on draft it would be better characteristics or not necessarily?
You know, not necessarily. I mean,
because there's that myth that if you go to a place that you'd much rather have something on draft versus in a bottle.
Yeah, you know, I think it depends on how the bottle was handled. You know, I mean, oftentimes I think when we get things out of a bottle and then we try it on draft, we think, oh, it was so much better on draft. Part of that can honestly be just the way those bottles were cared for. You know, so if you buy a beer that, you know, especially a craft beer, a good import, and it's been sitting on a shelf baking under a bright light somewhere, you know, for a while, it's not going to taste very fresh.
Easy bake oven beer is not a good look.
Not so good. Not so good. This, I think, is probably the most over-the-top example of pumpkin. So, you know, I'd probably start somebody down the middle, you know, and say, you know, if you want a little bit less, here's some that are a little bit more subtle. If you really want that, oh my gosh, that's pumpkin pie, then, you know, nothing is more pumpkin pie than pumpkin. And this is an Imperial pumpkin, which is also sort of rare in pumpkins. Most of the pumpkin beers that we see...
Royal pumpkins are very rare, I hear.
Well, Imperial, rather. Yeah, and so it's a high-gravity pumpkin. I believe this is like 9%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 9%, which is...
So it's a pumpkin that came to party, really.
Yeah, it's seriously a pumpkin that came to party. Most of them are, you know, maybe 5.6, 5.5, you know, pretty normal. So this is about twice the range, and you know it when you taste it. It's dessert, you know. I mean, it has to be at the end because it is a dessert beer without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's straight up pumpkin pie.
Yeah, straight up pumpkin pie. You know, when we first sampled it this year and it came in, every year we try all the pumpkin beers, and the thing is, they're different every year, you know. And there's always a varied, you know, array of flavors with how they spiced it. A little bit more subtle this year, a little bit less subtle, but pumpkin is always over the top. But this year we sampled it and we went, oh my god, I think I could taste the graham cracker crust at the end.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, you know, you're like dollop of whipped cream, fantastic.
Now, so I just picked one blind because I thought it was crazier than pumpkin.
Okay.
But I want you to try and kind of walk me through it. It's called Chips and Salsa. It's a spiced ale. You know, hard ciders are big this time of year.
Well, you can smell it. is chips and salsa.
Is it really?
Oh my! You can smell. You know, the aroma alone. You get the tortilla. You can actually smell the tortilla character. Wow! And it tastes like a zippy little. You didn't try it yet.
No, I didn't. I wanted you to try it first.
You can taste the peppery quality in it. That little hint of heat just goes across the tongue. And it lingers with tortilla all the way down the back of your throat.
Which is the fun thing about these craft beers is that
makes you hungry.
Well, not only does it make you hungry, but they don't really. I mean, some of the names are very cool, like Nosferatu, but when they go for like pumpkin and chips and salsa, they're really not. It's not a name. It really is.
It is what it is.
It's chips
when
and salsa.
It should be, you know. I mean, you don't want to get something like that and think, well, I barely taste it. Well, you definitely get.
So if people want to go out to the store and check out some of these beers, how do they get there? Where do they go?
All right. Well, we're at 11250 Fulton East in Lowell. So you go down Fulton Street, and as you go over the river through the woods, after you passed Ada, the very first thing you see on the right-hand side is Paulie's. We're open 7 days a week. Come on down, a little over 650 different craft and import beers.
And what's great about this place is, like I said, it's all about the education. They will walk you through the whole process. So drinking beer is not supposed to be a scary thing. Stacy and I have been saying this the whole time. Don't fear the beer. Just come into the store and they will talk you through it. And I'm telling you, whatever you're drinking right now, if you bought it in a cardboard box, I want you to toss that in the garbage and come into the store and try some real beer. All right, we'll be back again. It's the Brew Review. It's on the Fox. It's 113.